Imagine standing on the crumbling stone battlements of the Theodosian walls. It is May 29, 1453. The air is thick with sulfur, choking dust, and the desperate screams of dying men. Before you lies the unstoppable war machine of the Ottoman Empire. A giant bronze cannon, the largest the world has ever seen, roars, shaking the very earth beneath your feet. For 53 agonizing days, this brutal siege has ground down the last remnants of the ancient Roman world. The end seems absolutely inevitable. But then, the unexpected happens. A sudden, violent thunderstorm floods the Ottoman trenches, rendering their gunpowder useless. The giant cannon, overheated and strained, cracks and violently explodes, killing its master engineers. The Genoese commander defending the breach is not wounded. He rallies his men. The walls hold. The exhausted Ottoman forces, sensing divine intervention, retreat into the night. Constantinople survives. The Eastern Roman Empire, though battered and bleeding, lives to fight another day. It is a stunning victory. But this is not just a story of a battle won. It is the catalyst for a monumental shift in human history. The survival of Constantinople triggers a cascade of dominoes that will completely rewrite the destiny of the world you live in today. Let us follow the first domino. In our timeline, the fall of Constantinople was the direct trigger for the Age of Discovery. When the Ottomans took control of the city, they choked off the Silk Road, slapping massive taxes on Eastern spices, silk, and medicine. Desperate to bypass this Islamic powerhouse, European kingdoms like Spain and Portugal were forced to look west, into the terrifying, uncharted waters of the Atlantic Ocean. But in this alternate timeline, the Bosphorus remains open. Christian merchants still trade freely with the East. The desperate urge to find a sea route to India evaporates. Think about what that means. Christopher Columbus never gets his 3 ships. The Spanish crown has no reason to fund a risky gamble across the ocean. The colonization of the Americas is delayed by a century, maybe more. The Aztec and Inca empires continue to grow and adapt, untouched by European steel and devastating diseases. When Europe finally does make contact, they do not find fractured societies, but highly advanced, heavily fortified civilizations. The global map is completely unrecognizable. Meanwhile, back in Europe, the intellectual landscape is shifting in a bizarre new direction. In our world, the fall of Constantinople sent a wave of Greek scholars fleeing to Italy, carrying rare manuscripts of Plato, Aristotle, and Homer. This sudden injection of ancient knowledge ignited the flame of the Renaissance. But now, those scholars never leave. Constantinople remains the premier library of the world. The Renaissance is not just an Italian phenomenon, it becomes a Greco-Roman revival centered right on the Bosphorus. Scholars from London, Paris, and Rome travel to the golden domes of Constantinople to study. The city becomes a shining, cosmopolitan beacon of art, philosophy, and early science, bridging the gap between East and West. But here is the real twist. What happens to the balance of religion? Without the fall of Constantinople, the Russian Tsars can never claim to be the leaders of the Third Rome. The true Rome never died. The Orthodox Church remains firmly centered in the Hagia Sophia. In the West, the Protestant Reformation is about to erupt. In our history, the Catholic Church was fighting a war on 2 fronts, scrambling to stop Martin Luther's ideas while watching the Ottoman armies march deep into Europe. But with a powerful, stable Christian empire standing as a shield in the East, the geopolitics of the Reformation change entirely. Perhaps Rome and Constantinople are forced to reconcile their differences to face the rise of Northern Protestantism. Or perhaps, the presence of a strong Orthodox rival prevents the Catholic Church from ever becoming corrupt enough to spark the Reformation in the first place. And what of the Ottomans? Denied their ultimate prize, they cannot easily expand into Europe. The legendary siege of Vienna never happens. Instead, the Ottoman Empire is forced to redirect its immense energy eastward, conquering deeper into Persia, India, and North Africa. Europe is spared centuries of bloody Balkan wars. The cultural borders of the Mediterranean are drawn in stone. Now, fast forward to the modern day. Picture a map of the 21st century. Where Istanbul stands in our world, there is instead a sprawling, glittering metropolis of ancient stone and modern glass. The double-headed eagle of the Roman Empire still flies proudly over the Bosphorus. The Hagia Sophia was never converted into a mosque, its breathtaking golden mosaics still catch the morning sun, untouched by plaster. It is a world where the Middle Ages never truly ended, but instead evolved, hand in hand with classical antiquity. A world where the Americas might still belong to their indigenous empires, and where the ancient Roman line survived into the age of space travel. All of this, because of a sudden storm, a cracked cannon, and a wall that refused to fall. History hangs on a thread so incredibly thin, where a single day can alter the lives of billions for centuries to come. What do you think? Would a surviving Byzantine Empire have brought peace to Europe, or just created a different kind of chaos? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring the infinite paths of what might have been, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us as we continue to unlock the hidden vaults of history.